My name is Clara. I live in a small town by the sea. The waves are calm here. The wind is gentle. People know each other, and life moves slowly. I have lived here all my life. I live alone now. My husband, James, passed away 2 years ago. He was the love of my life. We were married for 35 years. We had one son, Daniel. He was our joy. He made our house warm with laughter and music. Daniel was quiet but kind. He loved books and drawing. He wanted to be an artist. He had dreams, big dreams. But then the accident happened, a car crash. One phone call changed everything. He was 23. The day we lost Daniel, something inside me broke. I remember sitting on the kitchen floor, holding James's hand. We said nothing. There were no words, only silence and pain. After Daniel's funeral, James stopped talking much. He went to the beach every day and sat on the same bench near the water. I used to watch him from the window. He never said where he went, but I knew. One morning, James didn't wake up. He passed in his sleep. The doctor said it was his heart, but I think it was his grief. Now, I live in the same house, walk the same streets, and see the same sea, but everything feels different. Every morning, I go to the bench where James used to sit. It's near the edge of the cliff, just close enough to hear the waves, but far enough to feel safe. I bring a book with me, but I don't read. I just sit. Sometimes I close my eyes and imagine Daniel and James sitting beside me. I see Daniel laughing. I hear James telling him stories about the stars. It feels real for a moment. Then it fades. People in town are kind. They say hello. They ask how I am. I always smile and say, I'm doing okay. But inside, I am still holding all the sadness. I don't want to show it. I don't want to make others feel sad too. One afternoon, as I sat on the bench, I noticed someone new, a young woman with a little girl. They were sitting on the grass, not far from me. The girl had curly hair and a bright red sweater. The woman looked tired. The next day, they came again. The girl ran near the edge, laughing and spinning. The woman followed slowly. She looked at the sea like she was searching for something. I watched them from my bench. I didn't say anything. Days passed. They kept coming. I began to smile at the little girl. She always waved. One day, she walked up to me and said, "Hi, my name is Lily. What's yours?" I smiled. "My name is Clara. Are you sad?" she asked suddenly. I was surprised. I looked into her big brown eyes. I said softly, "Sometimes." She nodded. "Me too. Mommy is sad a lot." Her mother walked over quickly. "Lily, don't bother the lady." "She's not bothering me," I said. The woman gave me a soft smile. "I'm sorry. She talks to everyone." I stood up and offered my hand. "I'm Clara." "Emma," she replied. "And this is Lily, my daughter." We shook hands. Her grip was light. After that day, we started talking more. Not long talks, just a few words. About the weather, about the sea, about Lily's drawings. Sometimes, Lily would sit beside me on the bench and tell me silly stories. She made me laugh. I hadn't laughed in a long time. One morning, Emma sat beside me while Lily ran on the grass. She looked tired. Her eyes were red. "Are you okay?" I asked. She nodded slowly. "I moved here 2 months ago. From the city. I needed to get away." "Just you and Lily?" She nodded again. "Her father left. He didn't want to be a parent." I looked at her gently. That must be very hard. She didn't speak for a moment. Then she said, "Some days, I don't know if I can do this. I try to stay strong for her." I understood. That feeling of trying to stay strong, even when you feel broken inside. I didn't say much. I just said, "You're not alone." She looked at me, her eyes filled with tears. "Thank you." From that day on, we became friends. Not close at first, but slowly, something soft grew between us. I told her about James and Daniel. I didn't tell many people, but I told her. She listened quietly. She didn't say, "I'm sorry," too many times. She just listened. That meant more to me than she could know. One day, I brought an old sketchbook to the bench. It was Daniel's. He used to draw the sea, the sky, the birds. His drawings were full of feeling. Lily sat beside me. "Did you draw these?" "No," I said. "My son did." "They're pretty," she said. "Can I draw too?" I gave her a blank page and a pencil. She drew a big sun with a smile. Then she added a cat and a rainbow. Emma sat beside us and looked at the drawings. She loves to draw. It makes her feel calm. I nodded. Daniel was the same. The sea breeze blew gently. For the first time in a long time, I felt something change inside me. Not joy exactly, but something close to it. A tiny light. We started meeting at the bench every morning. Sometimes we brought sandwiches. Sometimes just stories. Lily always brought her smile. One rainy day, Emma brought a thermos of hot tea and 2 cups. We sat under our umbrellas and drank quietly. She said, "This bench, it feels like home now." I looked at her. It was once my husband's favorite place. He came here every day. She smiled. "Maybe that's why it feels peaceful." I smiled back. Maybe. Later that evening, I walked home and looked at the family photo on the wall. James was smiling. Daniel had his arm around my shoulders. We were all younger then. I touched the glass. "They would have liked Lily," I whispered. The days grew colder. The sea looked gray and the wind became sharp. But Emma, Lily, and I still met at the bench. We brought blankets and warm tea. Lily wore a red scarf and gloves that were too big for her. She still ran and laughed. Her energy filled the quiet air. One morning, Emma said, "You've helped me more than you know, Clara." I looked at her. "How?" "You listen. You don't judge. And when I talk to you, I feel safe." Her words warmed me. I didn't know I had helped. I just shared the bench, the stories, the silence. We were 2 women with pain in our hearts, but something gentle had grown between us, like the sea, always moving, always changing. We were healing too. That evening, I sat alone at home. I opened Daniel's sketchbook again. I looked at his last drawing, waves crashing under a full moon. There was peace in it. I ran my fingers across the lines. Suddenly, I had an idea. I went to the small wooden box in my bedroom. Inside was a folded letter. Daniel wrote it when he was 16. It said, "Dear Mom, one day, if I'm not here, I want you to keep smiling. I want you to look at the sea and think of me. I'll be in the wind, in the waves, in the stars." I cried as I read it again. His words felt like a warm hand on my shoulder. The next morning, I took the letter with me to the bench. Emma came with Lily, as always. We shared tea and bread. Then I handed the letter to Emma. She read it slowly, her eyes filled with tears. "He was wise," she said. "He was full of love," I said softly. She folded the letter carefully and gave it back to me. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." What helped you keep going after you lost him? I looked at the sea. The waves were gentle that morning. I didn't give up because I had James. And now, I don't give up because I still have memories. And people like you and Lily. Emma looked down. Sometimes I feel weak. I shook my head. You are one of the strongest people I know, she smiled, though her eyes were wet. That afternoon, Lily drew a picture of the three of us on the bench. She gave it to me. This is for you. I looked at it and smiled. Thank you, Lily. I'll keep it always. I framed the drawing and placed it next to Daniel's sketch, one from the past, one from the present, both full of love. Weeks passed. One day, Emma didn't come, then another day, and another. I worried. I walked past the house I knew she rented. I knocked gently. No one answered. On the 5th day, I saw her sitting alone on the bench. She looked pale. Her hair was messy. Lily wasn't with her. I sat beside her. Where's Lily? She's with my sister for a few days, she said. I needed time. I stayed quiet. Emma spoke slowly. Last night, Lily asked me, why don't I have a daddy? And I didn't know how to answer. I looked at her. Her eyes were tired. She's growing. She's asking more. I feel like I've failed her. I touched her hand. You haven't failed. You're doing your best. She shook her head. Sometimes I wish I could run away. Disappear. I held her hand tighter. I've had those thoughts too, after Daniel. I didn't want to wake up some mornings, but I did. And now, I'm glad I did. Because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have met you. Emma wiped her tears. Do you really mean that? I do. She took a deep breath. The wind was soft that day. I think I need help, she whispered. That's okay, I said. Asking for help is brave. She nodded. The next day, Emma called a counselor in town. She started going once a week. She told me it felt strange at first, but helpful, like opening a window after a long winter. Lily returned a few days later. She hugged me and said, I missed you. I missed you too, I said. That day, we made sandwiches and sat by the bench. Lily picked wildflowers and gave us each one. Emma smiled more now. She still had hard days, but she was stronger. I could see it. One morning, I told her something I hadn't told anyone. I used to think I had no purpose after James and Daniel died. I thought my story had ended. Emma looked at me gently. But then you came, and Lily, and now I see. Maybe there are more chapters. Maybe we don't stop living just because we lose someone. Maybe we live for them. Emma reached over and held my hand. You gave me hope when I didn't have any, she said. You gave me the same, I replied. Spring came. The sea turned bright again. Flowers grew near the cliff. One day, Emma said, I want to go back to school. Study something new. That sounds wonderful. I want to work with children. Maybe help other single moms. You'd be amazing at that, I said, and she was. She applied for a course and got accepted. She cried when the letter came. We celebrated with tea and cake on the bench. Lily made a card that said, Mommy is going to be a helper now. I laughed when I saw it. She's your biggest fan. Emma nodded. She's the reason I keep trying. As the weeks passed, our friendship became like family. Emma would bring groceries for me. I would babysit Lily. We had dinner together once a week. Sometimes we didn't talk much. We just sat and watched the sea. That was enough. One evening, Emma said, "You've become like a second mother to me." I looked at her with tears in my eyes. "And you've become like a daughter." We hugged. That night, I looked at the stars and whispered, "Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for sending them to me." It's been a year since we met. Emma is now working at a daycare. She smiles more. She talks with other moms and shares her story. She tells them, healing takes time, but it's possible. Lily is growing fast. She still loves drawing. Her pictures now have houses, flowers, and smiling people, and I feel alive again. Every morning, I still go to the bench. Emma and Lily often join me. We talk, we laugh, we remember. Sometimes we still cry, but the tears are softer now. The bench by the sea became more than just wood and paint. It became a place of healing, a place where grief met hope, where pain slowly turned into peace, and where three hearts found each other across loss, across silence, across time. Because love never truly leaves. It changes shape. It finds new ways to live. Thank you for listening to this story. If you are feeling lost or hurting, please know this: you are not alone. There is always someone out there who will care, and even in the quietest places, healing can begin. Stay strong, be kind to yourself, and let the waves carry your pain gently away. If you liked this story, please like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time.